Good morning all. This is Anupama Lavre and I am here to discuss with you the subject business law. And today we are going to discuss the new unit, that is Sale of Goods Act 1930. Before starting this new unit, I want to compare with you the difference between the Sale of Goods Act and the Contract Act. In Contract Act, we find that there are some essential elements which must be present to form a valid contract. To form valid contract, there were some essential elements. Do you remember what were those essential elements? The first one is at least two parties. The same is with Sale of Goods Act. There must be two parties to form the Sale of Goods Act. The next one is they must be eligible to enter into a contract. Eligible to enter into contract. In this case also, whenever you want to form a valid contract, there must be the parties, that means the parties who are entering into a contract must be eligible to enter. Eligibility means what? They must attain the age of majority, of sound mind, and must not be convicted by any law. They not be convicted. That means they must, for violation of any rules or for any law, then the drunken person, etc. are the person, that means who are not eligible to enter into a contract, and major and the person having a sound mind are the person who are eligible to enter into a contract. The same case is with the Sale of Goods Act. Then what is the difference? The third major portion is consideration. In Contract Act, you can, that means what is consideration? Consideration means something in return. In Contract Act, consideration may or may not be in monetary form. Monetary form or may not be, that means it may be a non-monetary form. That means if the promise is given against promise, that also treated as consideration. But in sale of goods, you cannot treat promise as a consideration. There must be a price, or you may say if you are entering into a contract, that means a sale of contract in India, that means you must have to pay the price in terms of rupees. That is the biggest difference between the Sale of Goods Act and the Contract Act. And the other thing is, contract is for anything. That means you may contract for movable property, non-movable property, or anything which you want to, that means for promise even, that means to do or not to do something is also a part of Contract Act. But when we are talking about the Sale of Goods Act, the contract must be for goods and goods only, and that goods must be movable. That goods must be a movable goods. So now let us start with the Sale of Goods. Under section 4, subsection 1, a Sale of Goods Act defines a contract of sale of goods is a contract. It is also, Sale of Goods Act is a contract. It is a contract for what? Whereby the seller transfer, that means if S is a seller and B is a buyer. What seller is doing? Seller is transferring or agrees to transfer. Agrees to transfer the property in goods to the buyer for a price. what he is agreeing to transfer or what he is transferring, he is transferring the property in goods. What does that mean? Property in goods means ownership. He is transferring the ownership, that means the seller is transferring the ownership to the buyer. Or you may say that any person who is transferring the ownership to another person, the person who is transferring is known as the seller, and to whom the property is transferred is known as the buyer. And what is the purpose? That means for price. Why he is transferring this property? For getting the price. He is transferring the property, that means he is transferring the ownership, and for what purpose he is transferring the ownership? For getting the price. And that's why when, if suppose I am transferring some goods to B and not for price, then it does not come under the Sale of Goods Act. It may be a transfer of property. Even though when you are transferring your property to someone else but without having any price, then you cannot say that there is a sale of goods. This may be a case of gift, or this may be a case of transferring my some movable property in the name of some person as a gift. So, what are the characteristics of a sale of goods act? First one is two parties. As just we have seen, who are those two parties? One is the seller and the other one is the buyer. That means a person must sell his goods to another person who is known as buyer. Then transfer of property. Transfer of property means he is transferring the ownership of property. Just transferring the possession of property does not amount to Sale of Goods Act. Ownership must be transferred. If you are just transferring the possession, we cannot say that there is a sale of goods. Sale of goods. Why there is no sale of goods if I am just transferring the possession of the property? For example, एक ले लेते हैं एग्जाम्पल, जैसे कि आपके यहाँ पे कोई आपके बाजू में किसी के यहाँ पे कोई फंक्शन है और उन्हें आपके घर के चेयर्स की वगैरह जरूरत पड़ रही है, तो आप क्या कर रहे हो? कुछ दिन के लिए, फॉर temporarily satisfying their needs, what you are doing? You are giving your chairs to that your neighbors. If what you are doing, you are not transferring the ownership of the property, but just you are transferring the possession of the property to the person, that means to the neighbor. And that's why we cannot say that this is a sale of goods. Okay? Then the third one, goods. That is, this is a contract between the seller and the buyer for goods only. Why they are forming the contract? For transferring the property in goods. Movable property ही सिर्फ क्या होती है? Transfer. You can transfer only movable property. You cannot transfer non-movable property. And these goods, what is the characteristic of these goods? The goods must be of movable. That means it is, for example, land is immovable. So, if anything which gives rise to sale of land, it does not come under the Sale of Goods Act. But if the crops which are grown on this land, you can make the contract for selling this crop, even though these crops are on the farm or on the land. You can sell these crops under Sale of Goods Act. Sale of Goods Act. So, what is the basis of contract between the seller and the buyer? To transfer the ownership in goods. Then the price. What is price? Something in return. Take one example. If A and B are two parties for a contract of sale of goods, and A is transferring 1000 registered to B and B is transferring 100 bags of rice to A. If this is a contract between these two parties, then we cannot say that there is a sale of goods because this is a barter system. And barter system does not come under the ambit of sale of goods act. But listen, if these 1000 register is of a value of say 10,000 rupees and the bags of rice for say 12,000 rupees, then A have to pay 2,000 rupees to B, and now we can say that there is a sale of goods between A and B. Why? What is the difference? Because something is, that means something is given in terms of price, that means in rupees, and that's why there is a sale of goods act. So price is an important element to form the contract as a sale of goods act. Then the next one is includes both sale and agreement to sell. What is sale? What is agreement to sell? Let us take one example. If I go to a shop and purchase for say one Cadbury, and I pay him rupees 100. What is happening in this case? I purchase the goods and I pay for it, and this is known as sale. What is who is seller? The shopkeeper is the seller who is giving me a Cadbury chocolate, and what is I am doing? That is the buyer. He is paying the amount, and that is known as sale. And what is sale of agreement to sell? Agreement to sell means the property in goods are transferred in future date. When property in goods are transferred to the buyer in future, then we say that there is an agreement to sell. Then no formalities to be observed. No formalities to be observed means what? Let us take one example. For example, whenever you transfer the ownership in the property to the buyer, it is immaterial whether you are transferring the possession or you are not transferring the possession. What is important? That means transfer of ownership in goods. It may possible that the buyer may take the possession in future date, or you may say the day after tomorrow. But even though the property is in possession of the seller, but the true owner is the buyer, and all the responsibility is rest with the buyer and not with the seller. Is it okay? Thank you.